Hi guys, Mr. Starry again. We've been talking about the measures of central tendency. Remember, the measures of central tendency are mean, median, and mode. Today I want to talk about median, and a word that we often use to describe median is the middle number or the middle value of our data set. How do we calculate median? First, we want to put the numbers in order. We can do this either least to greatest or greatest to least. It doesn't really matter. Traditionally, we tend to put them least to greatest just because that's kind of how our minds work when we think about numbers. Number two is we're going to find the middle number, and I'll show you a strategy on how to do that here in a sec. So first step is we want to put this data set in order. I'm going to go least to greatest here, and I'm going to cross numbers out as I go, just so I remember to include everything. So smallest number is 0. Second smallest is 1. Then it looks like we have 4. Then it looks like 7. Then it looks like 8. Then 12. Then 16. Okay, so step number 1, put the numbers in order, is done. Now we need to find the middle number. And your classic median strategy to find the middle number is what we like to call the cross-out strategy, meaning we're going to cross out numbers on each side of my data set, working towards the middle so that I can find the middle number. So let's start on the left. We'll cross 1 out over here. We'll cross out the 0. And then we'll cross out the 16. Notice that I have 1 crossed out on the left and 1 crossed out on the right. And I'm going to keep doing this until I find the middle. 1 crossed out on the left, 1 crossed out on the right. 1 crossed out on the left, 1 crossed out on the right. Notice that there's no room for me to do that anymore, and there's one number sitting right in the middle of my data set. This number, 7, is my median. It is the number that is exactly value-wise in the middle of my data set. For our second example, we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to notice something a little different happens here. So again, put the numbers in order. Looks like 3 is my smallest in this data set. And it looks like 7, then 8, then 11, then 12, then 14. All right, and just like our last example, what we're going to do is we're going to cross out on each side, and we're going to try to find the middle. Cross 1 out on the left, cross 1 out on the right. Cross 1 out on the left, cross 1 out on the right. Now, if I would continue this, watch what would happen. I'm not going to do it, but what if I would cross out 8? Then I would have to cross out 11. So what you'll notice is this time, which is a little different than our last example, we actually have 2 numbers in the middle. Well, we can't have 2 medians, so we have to do something else. Again, we're trying to find the number that is in the exact middle of our data set. So what I need to be thinking about is what number is exactly between 8 and 11. Now, some examples you can just kind of think of it. You can kind of intuitively figure out the number that's exactly in the middle of 8 and 11. But let me give you a strategy when this happens. To find the number, to find the median, when we have 2 middle numbers, well, all we simply do is we take those 2 middle numbers and we add them together. Notice we'll get 19 when we do that. And then what we'll do is we'll actually take 19 and divide it by 2. Okay, and when you do that, you actually get 9.5, or 9 5/10. So my median for this data set is 9 5/10, or 9.5. And what's weird about that is that wasn't even a part of our original data set, but that's okay. Again, the goal is to try to find the middle value of our data set. 9.5 is in the exact middle of this data set. That's all I have for you today, guys. We'll talk to you in the next one.